Welcome to the interview. Welcome back. We are here. Our last show was really, really good, and we hope you did not miss it. We talked about religion versus spiritual and what that really meant. And I'm gonna just summarize it. We want you guys to understand you need to have a relationship.
Yes.
That's the final, that was where we left it, is a relationship. And I guess we can extend this now. We're going to extend it a little bit more. Building this relationship, I would love to discuss entertainment, the entertainment industry, and how that can feed your spirit in a good way or a bad way.
Yeah.
So that covers music, that covers movies, that covers so many different facets that are so available to us. So for me, I am very musically inclined. I love music. When I used to teach dance for 10 years. I danced professionally for 5 years. And music to me, it moves me. And the thing about it is I minister in dance in church. So music and dance to me is a part of my DNA. And I know for me, I know that I need to feed my spirit with what God has for me. But I'll be honest, I like me some ratchet music.
Hey, ratchet and righteous.
I like me some ratchet music. I have my little playlist if I'm in that mood or whatever that I have to go back to it. I'm be honest, I like Cardi B. Okay, I like Cardi B. Okay, I like Meg Thee Stallion. Okay, I like all the current people now that are out or whatever. Okay. Some may know them, some may not, but I know them. They or whatever. But I do have my area. But I know God is telling me He wants me to start Xing that out. And I'll be honest. It's really hard because people like to say, oh, it's just a beat. The beat is good. The beat is so good. The beat is hot. Okay. And for me, God is really dealing with me in that aspect because He wants me to be worshiping Him in every area of my life.
Do you find that music is your way of praise and worship?
I do.
That's your vehicle?
Yes. Like if I need to, I will go straight to music.
Do you feel that when you're listening to the ratchet music, then it's almost as if you are
worshiping something else? Do.
I don't know.
That's a great question.
That's a personal question for each individual person. It's your conviction. It's what you're feeling. But I feel like when someone has a heart of praise and worship, they have a different standard that they are held to by the Holy Spirit.
Okay, so we're gonna finish this episode now. I'm just playing. Oh my goodness!
You get it?
You talk about a standard. Can somebody talk about what you like? Anybody else?
Well, let me just say this. I won't even say it. Oh, go for it. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say. So within that, you know, we were talking about beats. And music has evolved in so many ways, especially in the Christian community. You know, they have a thing now.
True. Yes,
Christian hip hop community. True. So can you just, we were talking about worshiping and what are we worshiping? And if it's just put to a beat, I mean, can you just throw Jesus on a ratchet beat and it still be okay? I mean,
that's a very good question.
I don't know.
I honestly, it's hard for me if I know the original song. It's gonna be hard. I can't hear I'm gonna just throw an example. What's the song? I can't think of it. What's the Run DMC song? I like big butts and I cannot lie. If I hear that beat and you're gonna say, God gave me life and I won't lie. I'm
still thinking about big butts.
I'm still thinking about big butts. And I'm gonna, when it gets to that point, my anaconda don't want none unless you got. I'm gonna think about that. You know what I mean? Because that has been so ingrained in my mind that I love. Okay, good attempt.
Yes.
To change this. Or whatever, which I give it to him, but I'm just talking about for me personally because I'm in tune with it, but I see it.
I hear what you're saying too. Go ahead and finish. I have something for you.
You know, the Sunday service choir has this song out. Now that you said that, think about it. My soul's anchored. It's a spinoff to the Genuine song, Anxious.
Oh.
Really?
I think I've heard that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not. Go ahead.
So anxious. Ain't that about getting your rocks off?
It is, but
Yeah.
and they also have, a song on the album Jesus is Born, actually, through the Sunday Service Choir. It just recently came out. Week. You remember the SWV song?
Yeah.
Yeah, they remixed it, made it
Interesting.
Jesus-y,
Okay, this is what I'm thinking. Being,
Interesting.
I wasn't a music major, but I was a musical theater major. With musical theater, we had to do a lot of music theory, transposing music, and really getting into what chords and are, and like the purpose of chords. A lot of chords that are used in church and even in just like musical scores, they are meant to evoke something from you. The chord itself is meant to evoke something from you.
Right.
There are certain chords that are called dissonant chords and then resolve chords. Dissonant chords.
Okay, drop that knowledge.
Dissonant
Are they like the
chords,
darker ones?
Yes, are darker chords, and it almost makes you cringe just a little bit. And then there's a resolve chord that comes right after it to ease it. So it's like a climactic kind of thing that happens with music.
Yeah.
Dissonants are in there, so it tells a story almost.
It's
just
the
with
music that you hear when you're watching a movie, when there is the suspenseful part that's coming, and then when the conclusion happens.
Yeah.
And those moments where you just want to cry.
Yes, exactly. And it
there's
lulls and kinda
there's certain music that comes with that.
Yeah.
And baby making music.
Well, here's the thing.
Okay, that too.
But what I was getting at with that was that music itself is it's not an evil or dark or has any kind of negative connotations with it itself. Just the music itself. Now, the intention behind the music or lyrics that you put onto that music will change and color the tone of that sound itself and make it stick in your mind. Our brains are wired in a way that even when we hear music, we tend to remember it way longer than any other thing, because
Another form of
music,
worship.
it's a form
praise
of
and worship.
worship.
That's why we do
It's
it
a
with
sense,
music.
one of
Yeah.
our senses that we hang on to. Like a smell, you always remember. A song, you'll always remember. Even dementia patients that I've worked with, they always remember, yes, Jesus loves me. Always.
Oh, that made me think about that. One of my favorite movies was dang it, I can't remember it now. Okay, it's one of them. It's based off of Nicholas Sparks' book,
The Notebook.
The Notebook.
Okay.
And she had dementia, but she could still play music.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And she could remember how to do that. So that's definitely something. But like when it comes to that, that's why I'm saying, should we? In the church, do that? Should we remix songs that were meant? Because I know that what was meant for evil, God can change it around for good.
Yes, that is possible.
But is it working?
I personally feel like no, because if you know that spirit with that song originally, then that spirit is going to hang on to that song. But that's just me.
That's only because you know it. But if
Exactly.
you've never heard that version,
Then it would be
and
different.
It was introduced to you.
It could be
in this
different.
aspect, then your mind wouldn't go there because you didn't have that prior knowledge of what it really was.
So I guess it just depends on the knowledge of music that you have of what you're listening to.
Yeah.
Like I personally, I couldn't, what the song, the So Anxious version, the Christian version of that, I personally couldn't listen to that because I know in my situationships that song has been in the background. So I can't do that.
Situationship.
Like I personally can't do that. It takes me to a place musically that God doesn't want me to go back to. You know what I mean? And that's just me. But there's certain other things. That's why, like, when I'm in my worship mode, there's a certain playlist I have for that. When I'm in my workout mode, there's a certain playlist for that. Like you say, it evokes a certain thing. That's why it's such a big deal. Like,
and let me
musicians make more than teachers. Like, that's such a big deal.
Let me mention too, from my understanding, the place that the enemy had before he was cast out of heaven was praise and worship.
Yeah. Yeah, the
That's
leader.
what he did.
Yeah,
true.
He was the leader of praise and worship. This was when it was just the angel of light, Lucifer. And I really feel that because that sense is such a heightened sense, he can use that to sway you into any kind of situation.
And the spirit behind
Yes,
different
there's a
music that we
spirit
listen to,
behind that.
it puts us in that mode, that
Yeah.
atmosphere of it.
Yeah.
So it's very important for us to be cognizant of what we're putting in our mind and our spirit.
And I think it's definitely when we are not on guard. And I think we definitely need to be on guard. So like a lot of times when I'm just driving down the street, listening to music in the car, I can't just have just anything on in the car because sometimes my mind will just be mindless.
Yeah.
Mindlessness is a playground
It's the devil's work.
for the enemy. That's a
Devil's workshop.
clear blank slate where you can just slip stuff in.
Remember people used to say, don't drink and drive?
All right.
Be mindless and drive.
Don't be mindless and drive,
drive.
okay? Because stuff can slip in there. It's a whole different thing. It's kind of like that whole thing of what are you thinking about when you catch yourself thinking?
Yeah, yeah.
And like, I think it also goes to what you're watching because people think about
Absolutely.
what you're listening. I remember I was watching something about they remade the Addams Family, and there's a guy I saw on Facebook where it was these Christians or whatever. They went to take their kids to see it, but they left the movie because they were like, you know what? The spirit behind this movie, even though they may know it, but I guess it was so verbatim. They had like a Ouija board in here.
Yeah.
It was all these things in that movie that they were so like, no, this is demonic,
Yeah.
and we have to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they left the movie in the middle of the movie.
Oh,
so
goodness.
does that apply as well? Should we be watching what we watch?
Yes.
So my ratchet TV.
What's coming in your spirit is what is coming into your spirit.
Because people are like, oh, it's just entertainment. Is there really just a moment where you can just say it's entertainment?
Until you, during your week or your regular life, start seeing the things that you see. And you don't realize it at the time, but that stuff really does get into your
Yeah.
Yeah.
mind and your spirit. And now you're talking like that. You're adopting those behaviors. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
How
It's
did this happen?
For example, the reality shows. I don't watch them just because it makes me. I get tension, and it's so. It's so.
Your face looks so just like you're about to barf.
I just don't find entertainment watching arguments and like all this like people talking about people and all this kind of
you're
stuff.
above that.
Like, I don't want to say I'm above at all.
Oh, shade.
I don't want to say.
Okay, for
I
those
don't
who
wanna
watch it.
say-
Okay,
I don't want to say I'm above at all.
Just saying.
But I want to say that it makes me uncomfortable being in like confrontational situations in real life. So I don't want to watch it on my leisure time too. Like it just makes me uncomfortable.
I'll just say I have watched my ratchet shows. Okay, I have my little routine of ratchet shows that I watch.
Routine of ratchet
And
Do you find yourself talking like them after a while?
I guess I am. Am I talking like them now? I'm just like, no, I don't find myself talking like them. But I guess it's out of habit. I've watched it for so long, so it's just part of my routine of me watching it. I'm like, oh, let's see what they're talking about now. And most of the time, I'm laughing at them.
Yeah.
Because of the fact I'm like, they look like Boo Boo the Fool, but they getting paid to like Boo Boo the Fool, and it's just like, wow, this is what our society has come to. So it's more so I'm entertained because it's like I'm entertained by laughing at the fact that this is entertainment, but I'm still watching it, so I'm helping them make money. So it's like
rubbernecking.
it's like a catch-22.
You start rubbernecking.
This
like,
is show. This is yes, rubberneck.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody's slowing down.
Just
and the accident on the other side of the highway.
and it's a fender bender.
Yeah.
Like, really, we slow down for that?
And it literally is like that because, like you say, because all is on TV. Okay, all is on TV. Like certain shows I can't really watch anymore because they've gone so far. Like the things that they have subjected us to. Even my kids' cartoons, they can't. I can't. You have to watch. You have to be on guard at all times because everything has something underneath it. And now it's not even underhanded anymore. It's so in your
Right.
face.
Yeah. Right.
It is so in your face when it comes to certain things. And it's just like, I'm not going to talk about nothing political, but it's just like, okay, no, I'm not going to introduce my kids or that spirit into my household or those ideas into my household at all. And it's like, I'll be honest, it's tiresome when you have to be so like, what you watching?
Yeah.
Or what am I watching? Oh God.
everything.
Like on guard all the time. But you know what? I'd rather be on guard than caught off guard.
Yeah.
I hear that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, we don't realize until you really sit down and like we're doing right now, realize how prominent the entertainment field is.
Yeah.
They have produced how we're going to wear. They have produced what we listen to. They produced what we
It's
eat.
subliminal message.
It's subliminal
almost.
messages and propaganda in everything.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In
That's what I was gonna
everything.
say.
And the thing about it is, that's a vehicle. We don't realize it, but one time I was talking in church, we are created to worship. So we are worshiping something, even if you think you're not.
Yeah. You're worshiping something. That's
You're
true.
either worshiping God or you're worshiping the devil. You're never, like you say, mindless.
Yeah.
There's never a point of being mindless because your mind is always engaged. And we have to always choose ye this day whom you will serve. Every day.
Every moment.
Every moment of each day. Like I literally have to, I go on my Pandora while I'm at work, I have to intentionally say, I'm not going to listen to Kevin Gates. I'm not going to listen to this. I'm not going to listen to this because it does evoke a different spirit for me that I am intentionally wanting to slide to the left and no longer entertain. And I'll be honest, it's really difficult, especially when you feel like, oh, it's Friday night. I just made it through the week and it's turn up time. But I now am I have expanded my Christian hip hop thing now, repertoire. Thank you.
Yes.
That now I'm able to replace it. I'll be honest, it don't sound no different.
Yeah.
Except for the message behind it, and it feels good.
It's the intent.
It feels good to know that I'm listening to something that's not going to take me down a different path that I don't want to go down emotionally. Because certain songs can make you want to go out here and have sex. Certain songs can make you out here and want to do something. Because
Punch somebody in the face.
like for real.
part.
But Nuck If You Buck, I'll be honest, when I was in college, Nuck If You Buck, they had
still a staple, right?
Yes, they're
probably still playing that.
They play that song to this
playing
day. Is it a repertoire something?
Still playing out.
And Nuck If You Buck was you have the drop it like that song was a staple in my college days. So when that used to come on, everybody like, oh, like it was like it may be a fight that may go off somewhere right there because somebody may have like nucked and didn't buck. So that's my thing. So if that can do that and that's over 10 plus years ago.
Yeah.
When I was in college and doing all that. And it's still that prominent or that swag, like all that stuff, the movement, like everything has something to it. And that just shows you how meticulous the devil is in his ways of getting us away from God a little bit by moment by moment. By every action, he's going to be like, okay, come over here a little bit more. Come over here. And you don't even know it until you're already over there.
Oh, my
and you're like,
goodness.
how did I get over here?
Yeah. That's so true. That's so
And
true.
that-
Very subtle.
It's so subtle that
very
it is like, when you look at how subtle it is, you're like, wow.
Because it starts off being, it's not that bad.
It's not that bad. It's just entertainment.
Yeah.
It's just entertainment.
Yeah.
Well, what am I getting in my spirit with this
You know, and
entertainment?
I don't think you realize how much it, how it's intertwined within you. I think, you know, like if you're driving your car in the morning, what are you listening to in the morning before you get to work? You know, some of us aren't able to, you know, listen to Pandora throughout the day, you know. So, you know, I'm a teacher, so I've got to.
Don't be hating.
Well, I'm just putting that out there. But some of us can't do that. But you know, so I'm a teacher. I teach first grade. So you know, I have to be on the entire time, the entire day. And, you know, and that can be, it's a trying job, you know. Sometimes, you know, I say that to people, they're like, oh, first grade, oh, and I'm like, don't let the smooth taste fool you, you know, because you got some kids out here that's got some, you know, some
home training,
some real interesting spirits about them. So,
That
you know,
are actually probably influenced by the music.
influenced by the music.
Right.
Exactly. Like you hear some of them singing and saying things, and I'm like, why do you know that?
You are 6.
You are 6. Why are you singing
You
that?
see like 7-year-olds cussing more than grown men.
Yes, exactly. So you know, and to come in contact with that, because you know, everyone raises their child differently, and you know, to be able to combat that throughout the day. I feel firmly that, you know, I have to have some kind of foundation before I walk and before I go in my daily life. You know something Sunshine was talking about at one of our last Bible studies about your thoughts and how you can control your thoughts, how you make the choice about what kind of thought process is going on in your head. And I think one of those ways too of controlling those thoughts is being aware of what you are allowing to come within your gates. You know, your eye gate, ear gate, feeling gates, you know, whatever you are.
She said Kevin Gates.
Or that, you know, but you know, you have to be, like you said, as you know, as parents, how you have to be on guard what your children watch. You got to be on guard with what you watch.
What was it? What was it? At one point, we had that scary thing. Was it Moo Moo or something? Where it was like that creature thing that would pop on like kids' YouTube, telling them how to kill themselves or go put a fork in the socket. It was this thing that it was coming up on kids' YouTube things. Like,
what in the world?
Like it was demonic. Like it was some scary stuff that it just show you how like that demon is going even younger.
Is that it's scary because they're gearing it to the next generation that's coming. They're getting them fresh kind of stuff, which is why they're getting it in cartoons and all this kind of stuff or whatever. But I feel like this is why we need to be so much aware of what's coming into our minds so we can teach our children, all right, this is how you do this. When stuff is coming into your head, how do you manage your stress? How do you manage when crazy stuff is coming at you? Because we're not able to guard 24/7, 7 days a week.
Right.
You can guard a lot, and you can block a lot from TV, you can block a lot from the cell phones, but you can't block other people's kids' cell phones.
That's true. That's very true.
They're going to see something is going to come into one of their gates. So how are we teaching them how to manage it? And we do it ourselves first.
And because one of the things my husband tells our son, you know, he tells him, you know, when foolishness comes to your head, reject it. So you know,
Absolutely.
he's 3, so you'll ask him, when foolishness comes to your head, what do? He's like, reject it. But I mean, it takes, you know,
I had to learn that.
It takes you have to that's a process.
Learn how to do that.
You have to do that
because I wasn't aware that when thoughts came into my head, I didn't have to think about it. Like I wasn't aware that when thoughts came in, I could say, no, I'm not going to dwell on you, and think about something else. I thought I had to think about that.
Right.
Oh, bring
Like
every thought into captivity.
And we don't think we have that power, but that's a whole nother topic we're going to have to discuss. But we do have way more power than we even imagine. But like I was talking about when it comes to the kids and their gates, like my oldest son is 10 and he's on PS4 and he's on that thing with other kids and he's hearing cussing and a family member of ours was on the gang with him and was picking at him for being a church boy. So now he was like, Mom, don't say we're going to church. What? And it was one of those things that I was like, do not let anybody make you ashamed about being in church. That's nothing to be ashamed about. And I have like he's 10. He's at that age now where he, you know what I mean, and want to be cool and everything like that. But like you say, I have to start teaching this now because as he gets older, we're not supposed to look like everybody else. But you have to be confident and to
Right.
be okay to not look like everybody else.
Yes.
Because being salt, when stuff is a little bit sweet, it's gonna be like, okay, you're
supposed to be salty.
supposed to be salt. You're supposed to be different.
salty.
You're supposed to be peculiar. People are supposed to recognize you by your presence when you walk in. But that's something that we have to teach and to build that confidence in. And it starts off with the music that they're listening to. It starts off because what is it teaching them? What is it gearing them? What is it
What's getting in your spirit?
showing them? And I think that's something that I know for me personally, that's why I want to talk about today. That's something that I'm actively working on, because I'm so sensitive to music. I have to be cognizant of that and when I'm entering into my space. So thank you guys for helping me.
Oh, praise the Lord.
With this
I think this
today.
is a joint effort right here.
For sure.
This is we learn together. We are growing together. This is definitely an inner view. Oh my goodness, an inner view
of what we need to work on, which I like, because I was able to acknowledge that. Now I have to, like you say, God has a different standard, and I'm going to be held accountable for that.
And I think once we choose to have this relationship with Christ, it is truly a relationship. There's certain things that we just can't do no more. We just can't.
True.
We can't think the same way. We can't talk the same way. We can't look at the same stuff. We can't listen to the same stuff. We can't. We have to guard our gates and make sure that those gates are guarded with the Holy Spirit. Because even that we can't do on our own. Because occasionally, if I'm just trying it in my own strength, I'm slip up and do something. Do something crazy.
And like you say, God can help us. God can, and we need to lean on Him, not on our own understanding. And this is a process that God's going to continue to work out of us for everything. If you watch something you shouldn't be watching, you still like to watch it, if it's including porno. If there's anything you're watching you shouldn't be watching, and you shouldn't be watching, God can help. God can take that out of your system. You know what I mean? That is a whole nother topic.
But He has to take that want out of you. Because you can't do that on your own. And yes, you can make the steps and the choices and the decisions to purposely do something. But even with you making that choice and that decision, He has to put that want and that desire within you to want to change and to make that thing happen.
Make that thing
You have
happen.
to be obedient and walk in it.
Absolutely.
And know that it's so.
Amen.
Right.
Well, thank you guys again for watching the interview. And we hope that you like what you heard and come back and see us again.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.